So now this is a heavy steel claim that's 1 inch thick plate, double-sided, or two sides, two layers, whatever you want to say. It's got a spacer in the middle. No idea where this came from, but it's been laying around our shop here for years. So I'm going to repurpose it. I'm going to make a grinder pedestal out of it. Should be nice and heavy. Nobody will be walking off with that. I'll run a piece of 5-inch square tube or something up the middle, another plate on top to mount the grinder. Another project. Now the big thing will be if I can lift it into the back of my truck. We'll see. Okay, got her in there. Don't know what that weighs, but it's quite a bit. It's almost on the verge of too heavy for an old guy to lift. But I got her in the back. Hopefully one of my sons will be home when I get home to help me unload it. And I'll start that project someday, maybe this week. Alright, so I'm going to make a pedestal for a bench grinder I've got. And also I thought it'd be handy to be able to mount my bead roller on it, as well as my Model 32 pipe bender. I had this pipe bender for a while. I never have assembled it. So I thought it was time to put together a pedestal or something to mount it on. So doing it this way, I'll have a pedestal I can mount 3 different things on, depending what I'm using at the time. So this will be the bottom. It's about 1 inch thick plate. It's got some spacers in the middle. No idea what that came off of. It's been laying around our shop at Works for about 5 years. So I thought I'd repurpose it. So I'm going to use some 1/8 inch plate and just box in the this gap here so it looks like solid. Then I'll probably just put a piece above it, or I might just turn something down on my lathe there to plug that hole up, just so it has a finished look to it. And then I'm going to use this square tubing as the riser. And this will be the mounting plate. This is 1 inch plate, I believe. 7/8 maybe. Same idea. I tried to cut it with my torch there, but it was just I couldn't get enough heat into it and cut it properly. Plus I'm not that great with a torch to start with. So I'm just going to grind this back down. I'll just fill it up with some weld there, grind it smooth. And then this was cut with a plasma cutter, industrial plasma cutter, so I'll just ground these tabs off. Fill those holes up, grind it back down smooth. And I'll just drill and tap whatever holes I need for sheet metal roller and the bender and the grinder. So that way it'll be a 3-in-1 setup, hopefully. That's the plan anyways. So I'll clean up a bit of the mess in here and I'm going to tackle that. So I got all my holes patched up more or less. Filled in good enough for this project. Used my Miller 212 auto set, and I was using 35 thousandths rod wire, I mean. And the heat cranked right up. Machine's not designed to weld anything quite that thick, but did a pretty good job filling the holes up, so that works for me. So next I'll trim out this base piece. Figure out I'm going to fill those big holes. Or I might just put if I've got a piece of plate something that size, I might just stick it over top. Finish it off that way. That's the next thing I'll tackle. Alrighty, got the sides boxed out. Welded those little tabs on the bottom just to keep it up above the weld so it stays level, hopefully. Just going to cut the upright part now and weld it to the bottom of the top plate. And then I'll flip this thing over and weld the upright to the top of this. Okay, got her mostly welded up. Got the upright all done. Just gonna build, well, we'll see. Depends on dishes again. I was thinking about building a little skirt around that. The Baldor grinder pedestals have a little skirt around them like that, just to finish it off a bit. And then I think I'm just gonna put some square plates over these holes to fill them up. And then I'm gonna build a little water tray on this side, just when you're grinding to cool your bits or whatever happen to be grinding. The big problem now is going to be how to get it off the bench. I'm not sure what it weighs now, but it's gotten drastically heavier, so I'll have to figure that out. So I got the bottom skirt made up and welded on. Finish it off a bit, and then I'm going to put these little coupons on here to cover those holes, and make the little water tray somehow up there, and then just give it a bit more of a grind, clean up some of the welds, and then I have to figure out how to get it down on the floor. Wait till my son shows up, and hopefully the two of us can handle it. I'd use my engine hoist, but I've got it at work, so I'm gonna have to try and manhandle it. Just worrying if it slips and lands on your foot, that would be very, very bad. I don't know if I mentioned, but the reason I went with this thick plate here is I want to drill and tap it for various things that come out on here, rather than just drill holes and bolt it. Plus, the more weight makes it that more secure. I won't have to bolt, because it'll be just freestanding. It won't be bolted to the floor. And I'm going to have castors on one end of it here so I can roll it around. That way the weight will keep it nice and snug without being bolted to the floor, hopefully. Okay, I've got to find a beer and figure out how I'm going to build that water tray. So I've got this 3-inch Schedule 80 pipe. I'm going to make that into the cup for the water. Probably cut it, I think, about 4 inches long. Then I've got this old piece of broken shafting. I'm going to cut this off and then just cut a thin wafer, 1/2 inch or something like that. Then use that as the plug for the bottom of the cup. Then I'll take some round bar of something. I've got different versions or different diameters here and there, so I'm just going to come off with a piece of round bar, grind it with a radius approximately that, weld it on, come off, and then it'll sit up here somewhere, and that'll be a little quench cup if you're grinding some tool steel or whatever. Just want to cool off the workpiece. And I managed to find my last check bar beer, so I'm just enjoying that. As soon as that's done, I'll cut this up, weld it together, weld it on. Okay, I got those cold hole covers welded on there, and I've got the water cup welded on now. Tried it out, it actually holds water. So now I just got to figure a safe way of getting this thing back down on the ground. Nobody to help me, so I might try it myself, or I might just wait till later. Okay, got her down by myself. Still a little bit winded. That is a heavy sucker. Just took it down gradually, used the block to make up the difference in the floor. Worked pretty good. So that's the general idea. So now I just got to get some castors to put on the ends so I can tilt it and roll it, and then start drilling and tapping some holes in the top plate. Once I get that done, I'll give it a coat of orange paint so it blends in with the rest of the stuff. Stay tuned.